Hi, and welcome to the first in a series of 6 podcasts on women in entertainment. I'm Chelsi Is, and I'll be talking to 6 inspirational women who are making a real difference and making an impact in the world of entertainment and being recognized for their art in Namibia and across the world. My guest today is Rosalia David, better known as DJ Roxy. She's not only a DJ but an author and a journalist for the Confidante newspaper. Rosalia published her first book in 2019 called Belinda, a book based on her teenage years, which has now been made into a short film. She's already writing her second book. DJ Roxy, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. How are you, Chelsi? Thank you for having me.
No, I'm good. I'm really good, actually. And I'm just so excited to be having this interview with you because I didn't even know that you were a DJ. I didn't even know that you were an author. So I'm very excited to have this conversation with you. How long have you been DJing?
I think I started in 2019. That's when I started learning how to DJ. And then I officially only started in, towards the end of 2019, let me say. I started at the beginning of 2019 and officially started at the end of 2019.
Oh, okay.
Going into 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was it hard breaking into the industry?
It was. As a woman, you constantly need to prove yourself, especially when you are in a male-dominated industry. So it was quite hard, but I must say that we do have a lot of support from the male DJs. You know, they are the ones that books us the most.
Wow.
Because they know, they've seen what we are capable of doing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they actually create a space for women in a male-dominated industry. And I feel like I can relate to that as well because when I started stand-up comedy, I felt the same thing. I was like, oh, maybe they're not going to be as supportive. But immediately when I had my first show, like all the male stand-up comedians showed up and they were cheering. And it was just such a beautiful moment to experience that. So I can really relate to you to that. And did you have any like resistance? Like, do you remember just that one event or experience?
Yes, of course. There will always be those, you know, when you step into the building and the person will be like, especially, you know, some other DJs, perhaps, let me say some other male DJs who have not seen you play before. Be like, can she even play? Yeah. You know? Yeah. So you need to prove yourself that you can actually play. So until you step onto the decks and then you can see that you can actually mix. If somebody understands the transition or how songs are supposed to mix, they know, she can actually play.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's when now. But I have definitely experienced a couple of times where I had to, you know, force myself to actually play. I'll be like, it's my time to play. Can you get up? And the person just like, wait, because you're a female, you know, but you're booked to play.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, what's men's attitude towards women DJs? Do you say there's like a transition happening, or is it still just the same attitude they have since like you started out?
No, there's definitely a transition happening, you know. As I said, the support comes mostly from the male DJs, you know. So we are getting there. They don't even consider us as female DJs anymore. Like DJ, they will even call you by DJ, not DJ Roxy, or she's a female DJ. And some males, when they come to the show and they see a female playing, they'll be like, wow. They'll actually be staring at you because they are shocked to see a female behind the desk. Because I only used to see, you know, the male doing their things.
No, and I'm really happy, you know, to be going to shows that women DJs are headlining. I mean, we recently had DJ Waffles here, and it's just amazing to see her growth. Do you ever see yourself, or have you actually played internationally? You know, tell us about that.
Not yet, but I'm hoping to. You know, that's something I would love to do in future. Yeah. So it's not easy penetrating into the international market, of course. Yeah. But yeah, definitely. I would love to see myself on an international stage.
Yeah, like what shows are you looking at, like, or festivals are you looking at playing? Like, in what countries?
I think the country that I would love to play is, let me say, Zambia. Because the type of music I play, you know, they relate more. I've played at a club before where there was a lot of Zambian audience, and they were actually enjoying the set, and I play a lot of dancehall music, so they relate well to that type of genre. So I think that's one of the places that I would love to go.
I've also never been to Zambia, so, you know, let's manifest and be proactive in that sense. But are there festivals in Zambia that you've seen that you would love to play?
Not that I'm familiar with yet, but definitely I'm going to do my research and, just reach out, network.
As we discussed about DJ Waffles and she, headlining in so many countries. Do you think women DJs are becoming a normality on the international circuit? Do you think that they are there? Do you think that you can say, no, there's this female DJ that is headlining a show? There is women that are literally female DJs taking over, not necessarily taking over, but like headlining their own shows. Like they can be female DJs, like for example, headlining Coachella. Do you see that happening? Is there a space like that being created currently?
I think so far so good. We have actually seen an improvement, or let me say I've seen an improvement in terms of labeling, or let me say differentiating between a female DJ and a male DJ. We have seen artists such as DJ Zinkler, hosting their own shows in their country, and the venue is packed, and or let me say booked at an event, and she's the only female DJ on the poster. So it's becoming a normal thing to to have a female DJ. At first, it was like, oh wow, like in Namibia, we are probably 5 if I have to count, but. Over the years, I've seen a couple of girls coming out wanting to play, wanting to learn how to DJ. So it's becoming a normal thing, basically.
Okay, and I believe you because I've seen it, and it's truly an amazing, amazing thing to see that women DJs are definitely headlining. Like you said, DJ Zinkler, she's absolutely amazing. Yeah. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see, your journey and where it's gonna go. Is there anyone that you looked up to when you started out? What was that thing that made you go like, I want to be a DJ?
Oh, it's a tough question. But, in 2014, if I have to say 2014, I was working part-time at Chestemba VIP. If I'm not so sure, 2014, 2013, they're around Chestemba VIP, the one opposite to Venue. So I would watch DJs like DJ Clap, DJ Flavor, DJ December, play a while, because I was a waiter. I was working at the bar. I was working at the bar or in the club, or let me say. So I would always watch and admire, like one day I want to play. I want to be up there also, entertaining a crowd. Yeah. So those are some of the DJs that I've basically looked up to. I'll be like, oh, I want to be where you are in a few years' time. I actually never imagined myself as a DJ. So just something I thought of while at the counter, and I was like, I want to be there. And then the next week I was like, please teach me how to DJ. Yeah. And so it went.
Wow. Yeah, I can completely relate with you on that as well, because I was just like, I think I can do comedy, and I was just like, let me go for it. And when I was in South Africa, that's when I initially started, and I was like, I'm just going to go to a comedy show. I'm going to speak to all the comedians there, and I'm going to be like, guys, I want to do this. Can you help me? And they were like, call this person, text this person, tell them I said they must give you 5 minutes. So I can definitely relate to that proactiveness and being like, I believe in myself to get there. And now you're actually here. You're like literally being booked, busy. So like, what are like the challenges that you say you faced as a woman DJ?
Let me say, events hardly pay, if they pay you peanuts, if I have to be honest, and they pay according to who you are, if you don't have 50,000 followers on Instagram or social media, and you looked as an upcoming, you get what I'm saying? But then sometimes you really have a lot of experience under your arm, and you deserve to get a good paycheck. So that's one of the challenges that I would say that we experience, not only women in the industry, but let me say everybody in the creative industry.
Yes.
So the paycheck is always a problem when it comes to paying a deserving amount to an artist. So I think that challenge is going to be one of the challenges that we will experience for the next, I don't know how many years, unless maybe even organizers change their mindset in terms of appreciating art, appreciating one's talent,
That's true, because it's so difficult for us to become full-time creatives in Namibia, and it's something that we love to do, but because we have bills to pay, and we're trying to convince all the sectors, even especially the private sectors, to come on board and really support Namibian creatives. I completely agree with you on that, and it's it's high time that they start paying creatives worth their time.
Hence why you find people coming into the industry and then all of a sudden they disappear because they don't see the worth. The passion is really there, but you rather go for what pays your bills than for passion.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you need to live. You've got, like you said, you've got bills to pay, you've got responsibility. So if you're making 1,000, let me say 1,000 in a month or 2,000 in a month, how are you going to pay rent? How are you going to survive? Hence why so many creatives are actually having a lot of jobs or multitasking. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think, we covered that, even in a sense of like, if we want to achieve that, like we discussed, it takes like the creative sector, it takes the industry and Namibians to really understand and really appreciate art and appreciate creatives in order for us to be like, I'm actually a full-time creative and this is what I do for a living, because it's very selective. Like we're very few that can say, this is what I do full time. And I'm also really just hoping that the industry becomes a bit more, or Namibians become more open and become more supportive towards Namibian creatives. So like we discussed, we both work part-time creatives. So in Namibia, do you think we'll ever see a point where we'll be you or me will be able to make a living from being a creative?
I think it's possible. I mean, there are those that are making it. There are those that are booked and busy, and their art pays their bills. But I still believe that we have a long way to go. In terms of just depending on the art itself. I mean, we have seen people that have been in the industry for so long, and they've only been focusing on their art, and then eventually 10 years after, the person goes back to work. So what does that tell us? It tells us that you can't survive with just being an artist. And it's a sad truth. And I hope that upcoming creatives see that it takes, like you said, it took somebody 10 years to even just get an award or be recognized somewhere else other than Namibia. So I think it's really important that we emphasize on the mental strength it also takes to really be a creative in a 2.8 million country, population country. So, but I mean, how do you balance everything? Like, how do you balance being a journalist, being DJ Roxy, being an author? Now you're shooting a short film. Like, how do you just balance all of that? It's quite easy when you really love something, when you really have passion for something. It's very easy to balance because you'll be able to work out your time according to, how the project is supposed to be implemented or so on. I'm speaking
English is
diplomatic English. Anyways, so I would say, basically I have an 8 to 5 job. So what I do after work is I try to be a little bit creative in terms of maybe downloading a few music and updating my music. And then over the weekend, if I have any gigs, I don't work over the weekend. I think that's the great part about my job. As much as maybe a story comes up and I quickly need to run there or go there, but it wouldn't take the whole day. So it's all about being dedicated to your art or being able to multitask. Like at my job, my boss always says, multitask. You need to multitask. So as much as I'm an entertainment journalist, I also contribute to news and I also do tourism. So it's all about multitasking, knowing how to multitask because at the end of the day, you can't have somebody else doing it for you, on your behalf. So you just need to learn how to balance. I guess that's the trick.
The trick is to learn how to balance, literally, because it's one of the things that I also struggle with is just to multitask at the same time because I'm such a structural person. I'm like, I need to finish A first before I get to B. I can't do everything at the same time. But like you said, it takes just learning and practicing, and eventually you get good at it. And also just to take away that whole stigma of, having outside jobs, having multiple streams of income as this bad thing, I think people think because you have so many, you're a journalist, you're an author, you also do you're also a DJ. It's like, it's not a consistent thing that's happening, but it's like it's something that you love to do, and I just hope that people see it that way, that this person is doing what they love, and that's what's important.
Exactly.
So tell us about the film. I'm actually excited. I'm very excited. I didn't even know. So I'm like super excited right now. I'm probably fangirling you because I didn't even know that you wrote a book, but I want to talk about the film. So tell us about the film that's being made about the book.
Okay. Well, I think I applied for funding from Film Commission in 2020. It was the 2020 funding cycle. Yeah, I've written the book in 2019. So after I was done with the book and the book was launched and everything, I asked myself, okay, what now? Like, I want to reach a broader audience. What do I do? So let me turn the book into a movie. So I reached out to a lady called Aina. She's a scriptwriter.
Wow.
I didn't even know her from anywhere. I was just given a contact and I was like, Aina, please turn my book into a script. I don't have money, but I want this script this book into a script. And she turned it into a script, to a film script, and we applied for funding at Film Commission, and we were fortunate enough to get selected for funding, and we managed to shoot it last year November. And yeah, it's basically just about a young girl, Belinda, who fell pregnant in high school. I just wanted to teach one or two things to my fellow young people. You know, as young people, we make a lot of mistakes. So if somebody can read my story and perhaps see some of the mistakes that I've made as a teenager, they can learn one or two things, or not to repeat what I've done, or just to basically send out a message out there that when you fall pregnant as a teenager, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You can still move on with your life. You can still achieve your goals, and life goes on. Exactly.
You know, life goes on, and those are just little obstacles that you face, and they do build you up as a person. And it's just not, you know, I'm trying to change my mindset also about how I look at my mistakes and my losses and my failures, and looking at it like I can create an inspirational story, just like you did. You wrote a book, now you're creating a film. Or you created a film, and it's because you believe that, you know, you triumphed from those challenges, and you are where you are today. And like you said, life goes on. So that's really inspiring. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you are on the move. I see with everything. Like, you're already writing a second book now. So if you can just give us like a brief of what it is. What can you tell us about the second book?
The second book is a continuous of the first book, because the first book just ends at when Belinda moved to Windhoek. So now the second part of the book talks about what happens after Belinda moves to Windhoek. So it's a continuous, and I'm also planning on perhaps if God willingly to also shoot part 2 or turn part 2 into a short film as well, or let me say a part 2 of the film, so that I feel like 25 minutes doesn't give justice to the story. So I would love to extend it as much as I'm also extending the book. So I wouldn't say much on the context, or let me see the storyline that is in the book. But people should just look forward to reading part 2 of Belinda. And I was fortunate enough to get also a contract with a certain school in the north. They order Belinda on a yearly basis, where they teach them through the book. I think they use it for life skills or for English reading, if I'm not mistaken. So, which is for me a very huge thing, even if it's just one school. Yeah, no, it's amazing. Congratulations on that. You know, thank you. Yeah, thank you. But like, can you give us at least like the title of the book, the subject? It will be Belinda Part 2. Let me say Belinda Volume 2. Yeah. Okay, amazing. No, congratulations, honestly. Like, even if it's just one school, it's how many kids? Thousands and thousands of kids at that specific school. And, you know, there was actually a time, like, okay, not me, but like my younger brother was like, Chelsi, I think you could be a DJ as well. Like, I can see you playing decks and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't know if people would like the type of music that I like, because I'm a very lo-fi hip-hop type of person. I like underground artists. I like people that are just coming up, their type of music and their type of vision that they have for R&B and soul. So I don't know, maybe I'll be hosting like parties where people just come to be very chilled vibes, not deep house necessarily. It's something where people just sit down and have a conversation, and I'm playing the music type of energy. So with that said, like, what is the advice that you can give to young women wanting to get into, you know, becoming a DJ right now? What I always say is just start. You know, I started learning on a computer, visual DJ. After DJ December and Flavor taught me at Chestemba VIP, I was like, I don't think I'm ready yet. So I download the app on my laptop, and I would constantly go on the app and practice, try to mix songs, trying to check the tempo of the songs and all that. And that's how I learned. And then I would go do free gigs. There were times I would be in Chestemba, Chestemba, the old Chestemba opposite Ministry of
by Engine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll go there every Friday just to play, just to practice. And I'll wait for my time because, there's a resident DJ, and how when DJs, when they're on the decks, they don't want to get off. Yeah. So I'll be there until 3 o'clock at night and only go home and come again Saturday and then the next, because I was so eager to learn. Yeah. So I would say just start. Just find somebody who can teach you, or download the app and teach yourself. YouTube is there. We don't even need somebody to test things anymore. There's YouTube and there's Google, And then you go to the club or somewhere else where there are players, and then you just practice. Because I think practice makes perfect.
Practice definitely makes perfect, and I know that very well because when you don't practice and you see others performing, you're like, gosh, if I just put in that work. So it's very important, and I know like imposter syndrome is such a huge thing that we're just like, I'll get to it. It's not important. But then when you're in those spaces, then you're like, if I'm only putting in the work, then the results will show. So I definitely agree with you. And I applaud you so much for just putting in all the work that you have in your career and in how far you've come just being a creative in Namibia. So I'm like in awe right now because like you said, you only get to know the person once you sit down and talk to them. So this has been such an amazing experience for me, and my last question for you would be, so I would want you to write a question for our next guest.
Okay.
To include in the show. So the next guest that comes, we will be asking them that question that you write down. So I'm just going to give you like this piece of paper.
Should I write it now?
Yeah, I mean, you can write it now.
Should it be anything?
It could be anything that you think the next guest could answer on the show that you think, because the theme is women in entertainment. Okay. So the next guest would definitely be a woman in entertainment. And we will be asking her that question. Okay. Yeah.
And when you spoke about wanting to start DJing, I think you should just start. You already have a fan base, so just start.
So, Roxy, DJ Roxy, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for coming to share your story, your experience, being a woman in a male-dominated industry. And, you're triumphing. You're a journalist. You're an author. You might even, when I see you again, you're probably going to tell me you're a filmmaker now as well. No, but just thank you so much for coming in. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.